Hello friends. So today again we will just go with the next concepts in the chapter number 3, that is equilibrium diagrams. So in the last lecture that we have seen about what is the use of the equilibrium diagram and some sort of that basic terminology related to the equilibrium diagram. Then we have seen some sort of that what is the meaning of Gibbs rule and how it has been implemented. So in the today's lecture we will see some sort of that again the basic terms related to the equilibrium diagrams. So this term you have to understood what is the importance of the solid solution and compounds in the equilibrium diagram. So basically the element present in the alloy in the largest portion is referred as base metal or parent metal or solvent, and the other elements are referred as the alloying element or solute. So these are the two terms which is very important, that is the solvent and solute. What is the meaning of solvent and what is the meaning of solute? So basically when we are just going with the alloy, so this is the solvent and solute. Just try to understand these two terms. So when we are going with the concept of alloy, whatever may be the largest portion present in that particular alloy, it is referred as a base metal or parent metal. So when we are talking about the alloy term, what is the meaning of alloy? Pure metal that is made up with only single kind of that contains. But when we are alloying, means we are just combining some sort of that two kind of that metals with each other. But when we are making the alloy, in that particular alloy there is some sort of that base metal which is having the very largest amount of percentage of that particular base metal, and then we are adding some sort of that content. Why we are going with the alloy concept, just try to understand. When we want to enhance some sort of that properties of any metal, suppose if we want to enhance the corrosion resistance of that particular material or metal, we are adding some sort of that nickel, chromium, and likewise these kind of that contents. And due to those contents, that corrosion resistance might be higher. So I am just giving one example as an alloy term why we are going with the alloy. So this particular in that alloy, whatever be the base material that will be in present in the very higher percentage, it might be about 90% also, and only we are adding the term of 1 or 2% of another metal in it, and that will be a alloy. So in that particular term, whatever may be the largest portion of that particular base material or parent material, it is called as a solvent. Okay, and solvent in the sense in which the another material will be gets added. Okay, and this particular term solvent that has been referred as a base metal, and whatever the content we are adding, it is called as a solute. Okay, so in the solid solution is a type of alloy. So what is the meaning of solid solution? Just try to understand. It is a alloy in which atoms of solute, means the percentage of material which is very lower, are distributed in the solvent. Okay, so the percentage has been distributed in the base metal or solvent, and both have the similar crystal structure. So it is very important when we are adding the both of that particular material or metals are having the same crystal structure, that is the solute and solvent which is having the same crystal structure. So the composition of alloying element may vary, but the structure should be similar to the base metal. So whatever may the compositions are there, might be that compositions are different, but even though the compositions are different, whatever may be the crystal structure it is there, that crystal structure, it is similar to that particular base metals. Okay, Now we will just see the terms, that is the solute solution and compounds. So that solute solution basically divided into the two parts. One is the substitutional solid solution and second one is the interstitial solid solution. So we will see these two terms, what is the substitutional solid solution and interstitial solid solution, into the next part. But that substitutional solid solution, that has been again classified into the two terms, that is the regular or ordered and second is the random or disordered. Okay, so order term, it has been might be referred as a regular also, regular or ordered. So substitutional solid solutions are divided into the two parts again, that is the regular and random, or again it is called as an ordered or disordered. So into the next part, the substitutional solid solutions. Basically, in substitutional solid solutions, atoms of alloying elements occupy the atomic size of the base metal. So in the substitutional solid solution, that is the first type. Second one is the interstitial solid solution. But in the substitutional solid solution, the atoms of alloying elements occupy the atomic size of the base metal. It is very important to understand. Whatever may be the atoms of alloying element, means whatever may be the content we are adding, that has been occupied the same atomic size of the base metal, and these are again further classified. Already we have seen that is the regular or ordered substitutional solid solution. So this is in this particular type, the substitutional of atoms of alloying element is in definite order in the base matrix, metal matrix. So whatever the content we are adding, it is in the definite order. So nickel aluminum solid solution below the 400 degrees Celsius, that is under the regular or ordered substitutional solid solution. So in which the nickel in the aluminum, that has been into the definite order. Now you just try to understand what is the substitutional solid solution. Here one example has been given, that is the nickel aluminum or aluminum lithium or germanium. So in this particular case, the element replaces the host atom in an orderly arrangement. So here we can be able to see, so nickel is, it is the base metal over here, that is the solvent, it has been referred, and we are adding the aluminium as a solute in it. But here we can be able to see whatever may be the host atoms are there, that has been replaced by the aluminium, but which is in the definite order. So order will be same here, first, third, here, second, fourth, here, first, third, here again, second, fourth, here again, first, third. That position I am telling, not exactly will be the same, but here that arrangement of that particular solute, which is in the ordered structure, first, third, second, fourth, first, third, second, fourth, first, third, second, fourth, likewise. So this is called as an ordered substitutional solute solution. So I hope you understand what content we are adding, that is called as a solute, into the basic metal, that is called as a solvent. So whatever maybe we are adding as a solute, that occupying the ordered structure or ordered arrangement, which is called as an ordered substitutional solid solution. Now next term, that is the random or disordered substitutional solute solution. So here one example it is given, that is the copper and zinc. Okay, so alpha brass, it is the example which is given. Now in this particular type, the substitution of alloying element is in any random order in the base metal matrix. So which is not having any kind of that fixed order, which is added in the random order or anywhere. It is occupying the space anywhere. So here we can be able to see the structure. Base material, or we can say as a solvent, is it is the copper is the solvent over here, and zinc, it is the solute over here. Now here we can be able to see whatever may be the solvent over there, any kind of that space has been vacant over here, and that has been occupied by the solute. But here in the, suppose if we consider this particular row, here it is at the first, here second, fourth. Here there is no any kind of that position acquired by the solute. Here again at the last point, that solute has been occupied the space. So where that empty spaces are there, that solute has been occupied their structure. So that atoms are randomly over here occupying the space, which is called as a random or disordered substitutional solute solution. So I hope by these two terms you have cleared what is the ordered and what is the disordered or regular, and here it is called as a random. Random means anywhere, regular in the sense in the fixed direction it has been occupying the space. Okay, now what is the meaning of interstitial solute solution? So now again it is some sort of that light confusion what is the disordered and interstitial, but I will clear those terms to you. Now in interstitial solid solution, the atoms of alloying elements occupy the interstitial sites of the base metal. Okay, interstitial site means whatever may be the base metal, it is regularly arranged and very minor vacant positions in it that has been occupied by the solute. So this type of solution is formed where atomic size of alloying element is much smaller, which is very important. Just try to understand the atomic size of alloying element is much smaller compared to the base metal. So here that atomic size in the random, here that atomic size is not much lesser. It is quite similar with the solvent, near about, not exactly but near about. So that solute atomic position, it is again in the bigger in the size, but in interstitial solid solution, whatever may be the solute is there, that solute is having very smaller atomic size as compared to the base metal. So here we can be able to compare the size of that atomic size of that particular solute and atomic size of that solvent. So this is the example of iron carbon iron carbon. So FeC, Fe is the iron, C is the carbon. So here iron is the base metal and carbon is the solute or that alloying element we can say. So to enhance the properties of iron, we are adding the carbon percentage in it. So that has been referred as an solute and the solvent. Okay, so solvent is the iron and carbon is the solute. Now with this particular concepts, just to apply some rules for the solute solubility, so that Hume-Rudry rules, it is you may pronounce as an Hume-Rodriguez rule or Hume-Rodriguez rule for solid solutions. So that what is that Hume-Rodriguez is one of the scientists and he has been developed some sort of that rules to apply for the solid solution. So solid solution is an alloy of two or more elements wherein the atomic crystal structure of alloying element, that is the solute, is same as that of base metal matrix, that is the solvent. So whatever may be the crystal structure, that will be similar or same of both solute and solvent. So solute and solvent both should have the same atomic crystal structure. So this is one of the rule which has been developed for the solid solubility. So both should have the same crystal structure, even though the size has been varied, but the crystal structure should be same. The solubility limited of the solute in the solvent, okay, of alloying element is the base metal matrix is governed by the certain factors. So some factors should be there just to limit the solute in the solvent. So whatever may be the solubility of solute is there in the solvent, that has been governed by the some factors. So these governing factors are known as the Hume-Rodriguez rule for solute solubility. Just for the proper solute solubility, some governing factors are there and that has been known as an Hume-Rothery's rule. So those governing factors, what is the Hume-Rothery's rule means? Whatever the governing factors are there or required for the proper solute solubility of solvent and solute, that governing factors are known as an Hume-Rothery's rule for solute solubility. Now, first rule, that is the atomic size. So for the proper solute solubility, Hume-Rothery's have developed the first rule, which is related to the atomic size. So in that alloying element having the similar atomic size as that of the base metal matrix have the better solute solubility. So just try to understand, the alloying element having the similar atomic size as that of the base metal. So solute which should have the same atomic size of as compared to the solvent which is having the better solid solubility. So just for the better solubility, solid solubility, both solvent and solute should have the similar atomic size. This should be a first rule. So both should have the same atomic size. Okay. So for favorable solid solution formation, the difference of the atomic size of solute and solvent should be less than the 15%. So there should be some minor difference maybe there, but that difference in the atomic size, that should be a less than 15% just to achieve the proper solute solubility. Okay. So then the next term, it is the chemical affinity. So what is the chemical affinity? So the element having lower chemical affinity have greater solid solubility. So whatever may be the elements, if it is having the lower chemical affinity, it is having the greater solid solubility. So what is the meaning of chemical affinity? So the element having the higher chemical affinity have the tendency of formation of compound and hence they restrict formation of solid solubility. So chemical affinity, if it is greater, if it is lower, then the solubility it is greater. Okay, so chemical affinity means that properties which are having very less tendency to changes in any kind of that chemical solutions. So those uh, are known to be an the chemical affinity. So the physical chemistry, that is the chemical affinity, is the electronic property by which dissimilar chemical species are capable of forming chemical compound. So whatever may be the chemical species, that should be it should be a lower to form some sort of a chemical compound. So the chemical affinity can also refer to tendency of an atom or compound to combine the chemical reactions with atoms or compounds of unlike composition. So this chemical affinity term, which is very important. So if it is the less chemical affinity, then it will be a greater solid solution solubility. So it should not be react with each other. Chemical affinity means it should not be react with each other. So that should be have the greater solid solubility. If it is having the higher chemical affinity, then there may be the chances to form some sort of that compound, and then it will be a restrict for the solid solution. So formation of solid solution. So in generally, the alloy elements located closer in the periodic table have higher solid solubility. Okay, so we are knowing about the periodic table. So those elements, alloying elements, which are located very close to each other, which is having the higher solid solubility. So relative valency. So in the metal having lower valency have more solubility for metals having higher valency. So as comparison of this two, so the metals which is having the lower valency is having the more solubility. So hence for the better solubility, the base metal selected should be one that has lower valency as compared to the alloying elements. So it should have the lower valency. So then it is easy to achieve the good solid solubility. So the crystal structure, fourth rule is the crystal structure. So as mentioned in the earlier, the solid solution is an alloy of element having the similar crystal structure. So in the first atomic size itself, we have talked about the crystal structure. So both should have the same kind of that crystal structure. So just to achieve the good kind of that solid solubility. So the difference in the crystal structure limits the solid solubility of elements. So these all terms are related with solid solubility. Up till now what we have seen. So what is the solid solution? That we have seen the solid solution which are having the two types. One is the substitutional solid solution, one is the interstitial solid solution. The substitutional solid solution again are having the two types, that is the regular and random. So what is the meaning of substitutional solid solution that we have seen? So in the order structure, whatever may be the solute, it is there that is occupying the spaces in the solvent with a very good order, or with a very fixed order we can say. And here in the random, anywhere that solute is occupying the spaces in the solvent, then we have seen about the interstitial solid solution. So in the interstitial solid solution, it is quite similar with the random kind of that structure, but the only one difference, that is the size, atomic size of alloying element is much lesser in the base metal. But if the atomic size varies according to the Hume-Cruthers rule, then it is not having the good solid solubility. So the atomic size should be similar, then chemical affinity should be lower, then relative vacancy should be lower for good solid solubility, and in the crystal structure the both should have the similar crystal structure just to achieve the good solid solubility. So I hope you have understood these terms, and in the next lecture we will just go with the Gibbs phase rule, how it has to be implemented in the various kind of that cooling curves. So thank you very much.